Sherran Young, bringing you another episode of Transparency. How y'all doing out there, y'all? Okay, so since the last time y'all saw me, I haven't had a birthday. I am 40. Welcome to 40, shawty. It's a new decade. It's a new era for me. I'm ready to take on new beginnings and seeing what this decade or this year period is about to bring for me. I welcome all changes. No, I don't feel like 40. And don't ask me what 40 is supposed to feel like. I don't know. I just know that my knees been bad for a while and I carry around a bottle of pills, pain pills in my car. I got supplements too. I was telling my homegirl, like, I got my supplements in my car. I got everything in my car. Water, snacks. So I won't have to, stop at a store and eat fast food. But I'm excited. I actually felt a little sad on my birthday because this would be the second birthday that I didn't get a phone call from my dad, wishing me a happy birthday. And it'll be the third year that I didn't get a phone call from my brother, saying happy birthday, fat ass. And it was also kind of surreal because I am now older than my mom was when she passed and my little brother. So it's kind of surreal to be happy to celebrate a milestone when you have surpassed people in your family that are dead and gone. And I didn't let that affect me. I didn't let it affect me too much, even though I wasn't able to go out and celebrate my birthday. The plan was to not do nothing. Like, you ever plan to not do a thing? Like, I'm planning not to work. I'm not answering my phone for nobody, even though I end up having to talk to a couple of my clients. I'm not going to ignore them just because it is my birthday. But I didn't leave the bed all weekend, actually. Like, Saturday and Sunday, I was in the bed. I did some work in my bed because that's my home office on Sunday. But Saturday, laying around, watched TV, took naps, just a complete reset. So that was that. I should have did research on my show, but I was jumping between topics. Like, I knew I wanted to talk about, violence against Black women, or how Black women aren't protected, which is what I'm going to talk about today. The lack of protection for Black women, brown women, indigenous women, and jump out with a few little statistics. But I also I was talking to my best friend, and she was, talking about being intentional with her words with her daughter, and it gave me something else to think about, which I probably can touch on the next show. And when we often talk about breaking generational curses and, how that affects your children, are you intentional on what you say to your children? Like, what are you saying? Are you, pouring into them? Because bully kids, just like hurt people. So if a child is at home being bullied by an adult that's put in place to protect them, they're going to go out and bully other people because they're bigger and they feel like they're stronger and more superior. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're just going to put a pin in it.
Hey, so before you get started, I did want to ask you, you told us not to ask you, but, okay, you don't want us to ask you about how it feels to be 40, but did you think about that before you turned 40?
Oh, yeah. I've been.
What was your thoughts?
Damn, I'm old. That's the first thought, like, I can't believe it. Like, oh God, I'm about to be 40. That was my whole thought process. Like, I'm about to be 40. Like, that was it. Like, I'm not where I want to be at 40. I'm in a better place than I was at 30, even 35. But at 40, first of all, who ever thought about being this old? Like, when I was a kid, 30 was old. Like, oh, y'all so old. So, being 40, that's so scary to me. But like I said, I welcome the change. Like, I'm ready to see. Like, I'm more mature in my mind. It's still some stuff that I got to work on, which I got a therapy appointment next Thursday. So, by the time I come back, I'm going to have some updates for therapy because, I am hashtag Black Girl Healing, and I want to promote that. So, my knees is hurting, and my back hurt a little bit. Everything, you can't just hop out the bed like you used to. You gotta sit there and marinate before you hop out the bed. You can't do like you used to do as a kid. I get out of breath walking upstairs. So, but that's 40. Well, that was 30s and that was mid 30s for me, so I don't know if that affects anybody else, but yeah. So, but anyway, I want to talk about the lack of protection for Black, brown women and crimes against indigenous women, as well as some statistics based on our white counterparts. And this is not to bash anyone. It's just, if anybody knows, I'm sure a lot of y'all do not know, but being transparent, I don't listen to music anymore. I only listen to music once a week, and that's because I'm in a city that has no service where I can listen to podcasts. Me being a podcaster newly to this genre and doing this thing, I kind of want to learn from other podcasts. I found my niche in learning about true crime. I like the way they tell the stories, and it's Black true crime. Now, I do listen to a couple of, white people do true crime. And like I said, if you're a good storyteller, I'm hooked. I'm like watching TV. I got it plugged in. It's in my car. But what stands out to me are the Black true crime podcasts, and they're talking about cases that no one is talking about because we are so rarely nationally covered. It'd be crimes that you don't even hear about. And I don't know what it is. I think it's just a lack of protection. I don't know if people just don't believe us, or it's just a lack of trust in the legal system, in the judicial system, which could be true, but we don't get enough coverage. They don't talk about us enough, and I'm just one person. So I want to speak on that, and if anybody has any help as to what we can do, we can be loud, but being Black women, we're not allowed to be too loud, because if we're too loud, then we're angry. We can't be too passionate. We can't cry because we're viewed as strong, and we're supposed to be strong. And I was saying earlier, I don't want nobody to compliment me and think that calling me the strongest woman they know is a compliment. To me, that's not a compliment. I don't want to be viewed as strong because I did what I was supposed to do, being responsible, taking care of my children, getting a job, going to school, and paying bills. That shouldn't make me strong. That should make me responsible, and I don't want to be viewed as, oh, she's one of the strongest women I know. If you want to be called strong, that's on you. Don't call me that. Just call me capable. Just call me... I'm getting it done because I have to. Like I always say, I'm real firm, and I'm a true believer in, sleeping in the bed that I made. I made the bed, I have to sleep in it. I can't project all my irresponsible actions out on other people because I was a willing participant in everything that happened. So I have to be out there, be in the forefront, and I have to do what I got to do. So don't call me strong. Call me capable. Call me any other word, but please don't call me strong. I probably won't correct you. I just won't like it. It's just like the equivalent of saying you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl, or you're pretty for a big girl. That's a backhanded compliment to me. So calling me strong is kind of backhanded because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. That's just me. This transparency, if I am offending anyone, I assure you this is not directed towards anyone. This is me. Don't call me that. I don't care what other people want to be called. If you want to be called strong, that's on you. We can agree to disagree on that, and I won't knock you for that. So I was listening to a true crime podcast called Black Girl Gone. Her name is Amira, and I like the way she tells the story. She has told, I want to say 4 or 5 stories where Black women have been murdered while pregnant. And it's the leading cause of homicide for pregnant women, the leading cause of death for women is homicide. From 2008 to 2019, 68% of the deaths reported with Black women have been homicide by firearms, by intimate partner violence. This is the leading cause. This is not due to obstetric issues, raising from high blood pressure, sepsis, or blood loss, any of that. Like you run into being murdered while pregnant and dying of high blood pressure. And that is crazy. It's crazy that, you can walk out on you can get pregnant by someone you think that you like, or you think that you fell in love with, you thought that's going to be there for you. You stand a chance of getting murdered versus getting hit by a car. It won't even be a random act of violence. Like, this is intentional. He wants you and your baby dead. That's crazy. And, you do have the other instances where women are, allured to their death by another woman and they cutting the baby out. But that's going to be talked about because there's a baby missing. There's a murder, but we're not talking about intimate partner violence. We're not talking about the black women that they get pregnant and tell the man, okay, I'm pregnant, about to have your baby. And when he says, boom, I don't want the baby, and you want to have the baby by yourself anyway, he gonna kill you because you don't think about that. That's really not something to think about when you're pregnant. When you're pregnant, you're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to be like, I'm bringing this life into this world. But now you got to be thinking about, okay, this man about to kill me. He is something. Then you can't even report it. I don't think cops take domestic violence seriously. And coming from me personally, I had experienced it. I ain't been in no relationship where all I did was get knocked upside my head. It don't take one time. And I had a black detective tell me, we don't take it seriously because y'all don't take it seriously. We're gonna issue a warrant, but we're not gonna actively look for this guy that hit you upside your head because y'all ain't gonna do nothing but drop the charges.
So do you think that women not being protected, do you think the cause of it is relationships?
I think the number one cause of it is relationship. When it comes to domestic violence, it's a relationship because when it first happened, you're shocked. You're not going into this relationship thinking this man is gonna whoop on you. Or woman, intimate partner violence. You're not thinking that. That's not the first thing that go in your head because you're looking for love. So when it first happened, it's like, oh, okay, well, that's weird, that's different. But when it keeps happening, and then they scare you, they scare you into telling, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z if you go tell. So, and then there's that, and then the other reason when you do go tell, they don't take it seriously. That's coming from somebody that actually told me that. That's crazy. It's also crazy because it was, like I said, the leading cause of death in black pregnant women is homicide. That's crazy. And then going back to when I mentioned about, being strong, and I saw something, because I be Googling, and it was a report published by Georgetown Law Center found that adults view black girls less innocent and more adult-like than their white peers. Black girls are perceived to be more independent, more knowledgeable about sex, are in less need of protection. That goes back to being strong, because they already see us as being strong. And why would they feel like black girls are more knowledgeable about sex? Why would they feel like that? Like, what gives them to look at, you're gonna see a black girl and a white girl, but you're gonna look at the black girl and think that, okay, she know more about sex, so ain't nobody going to do nothing to her. Why is that? I wish I could have, had more time to dig deeper into why you can look at that, because, on social media, we already know that sex sells. That's in the industry, period. With the video girls, that's already know, like, if you have a rap song from 20, 30 years ago, you're going to see a butt naked girl, and that's what driving your views up. Even now on TikTok and doing the reels on Facebook, you see half naked women dressing and dancing, doing regular stuff. They're not even getting a message across. They're not even talking. They dancing and putting their butt all in the camera, and that's going to get the views up. And if anything happened to them, then it comes to victim blaming and victim shaming. Oh, she shouldn't have been doing that. And I have to be totally honest. I am one of the ones that like, why would she do that? Why would you do that? Because I feel like sometimes we oftentimes, will put ourselves in situations that will have predators after us. Like, you never know what's on the other side of the screen that's looking at you, that's lusting after you, and they done created a relationship in your head. It's not the way to think, because no means no. Consent is consent. You have to get that. I also saw that a lot of girls have reported, it was a higher number of girls reported that by the age of 18, they had been coerced into some type of sexual act. And if they coercion to me is if you love me, you will do it. You know, I think you beautiful. You should do this. You should prove how much you love me. You know, or I love you and things like that. And then now it's not rape because this person has, you know, played on your trust issues and you think that this person loves you, but when you get older you start to think about, you know, oh well damn, I really didn't want to do that. Now I have been put in situations where if a guy is pressuring me, I'm just gonna sleep with him and get him out my way. Just go ahead and leave me alone, because what is you here for? Like, they don't want to take no for an answer. And these are the ones that be loud and wrong all on social media. You know, I ain't gotta do that. But you do. But you do. So you can't tell anybody because lack of protection. So you can't tell anybody because you're gonna get the victim blame. Why were you with him? Why were you dressed like that? You know, it's crazy. It's been going on for about 80 years. And I read something about Reese Taylor, who was walking home from church and she got assaulted by 7 white men. And they drug her into the field and they was like, do me like you do your husband or I'll cut your throat. Now she walking home from church. No one's going to take her seriously because back then it said up by about 80 years. I think this happened in 1951. So again, at that time, you really couldn't tell. You really couldn't tell. No one's going to take you seriously. That's just like slavery. Who was you going to tell? You know, they felt like they can have their way with you. No one is protecting us. No one will ever protect us. You can't tell. No one will believe you. Now, when girls are sexually assaulted, the molester, the abuser, no one's going to believe you. No one's going to, you know, be here for you. There is no protection for black women. I don't think it is. I've never seen anything, you know, where, okay, we're protected. Even if, you know, you call yourself, you want to do everything right, you want to go tell a story of a 16-year-old girl who was abused by her mom's friend's boyfriend. She was babysitting and the man was having a sexual relationship with her, forced sexual relationship. It started when she was like 14. She decided to stand up for herself. Her mom did what was right and took her out of the city, moved her to a different city, moved her to a different school, and this grown-ass man killed her, even after he coerced her into taking her story back. He befriended her on Facebook from a fake account. And he shot her, and then not only did he shoot her, he stepped on her neck and made sure he crushed her windpipe and threw her in a lake like she was a piece of trash. And she actually tried to do the right things. Like, it's like you damned if you do and damned if you don't. At first she did not tell her mom, but if her mom was a good mom and paid attention to her child, because you know when something's different in your child. It's just like, you can't say, oh, we didn't know. You can tell if you have a once bubbly child and then all of a sudden she's withdrawn, or oh, she's just an introvert. We're not getting to the bottom of that issue either. So her mom knew. Her mom, okay, something's wrong. And when her mom pushed, she was like, oh, no, I'm good. Mama took the phone. Mama going through the phone, and she seen the messages from this grown-ass man who has violated her child. She went straight to the police. Then again, you go straight to the police. You do what's right. The police are taking you seriously, and she still got killed. She was 16. Now, he's on death row. All because he didn't want to go to jail for crimes against a child, which he was already on probation or something, or he had already beat a charge for either rape or something. So he has a history of this. Because, you know, let's get into the double standard real quick with men and women, period. Women cannot say that, okay, men see that a woman has been sexually active since she was, let's say, about 12 years old. Oh, she a hoe. But who they fucking? At 12. But it's just like, if like men don't talk about being molested because they don't think they was molested or raped. But if you ask a group of men, at what age did you lose your virginity? And if they tell you anything beyond, past the age, well, under the age of 13, we're just gonna say 13. We're just gonna say 13 because they don't know no better. Oh, the babysitter. Oh, my mama older friend. And, oh yeah, she was this, and this. You were raped, sir. But just because it's with a woman and an older woman, they think it's a rite of passage. Women can be predators too. I'm not trying to discount the fact that women are not predators, but men are not speaking on it because they feel like this is something that's supposed to happen. So you got your uncle, you got your older brother, you got somebody in your family telling you this is what you're supposed to do. I'm gonna make a man out of you. And case in point, with my son, when I was pregnant with my son and I was with his dad, oh yeah, when he turned 13, I'm gonna go buy him some pussy. Now, I was young, and I already knew I wasn't going to be with him. But I was like, boy, you out your mind. I would kill you and her. Like, don't play with my child. I'm still pregnant with my son, and here you is, a grown man talking about I'm going to go buy him some pussy. And it didn't register, in my mind that, had he been in my son's life, that's what he was going to do. But now, I'm sitting here thinking about it. Oh, he was going to pay somebody to rape my little boy to make him a man. So if you sit here and you listen to a man say, I was 8 years old and I had sex with my mama friend, that man gonna get high five. Well, by other man, he might, oh yeah, you did that. But if a woman tells you, oh yeah, I was 5 years old and my uncle came in my room and he had his way with me, what you gonna look at? How you gonna process it? There's a double standard. If a woman is having sex, if a young girl is sexually active, hypersexual, somebody is touching her. Because then again, you equate being wanted, being loved to using your body. This is not something that I read. This is something that I know. Being a victim of sexual assault or sexual violence. No, I'm going to buy you this if you do this. This is why I won't ask men for money. Because what you want? You want something. So that's ingrained because, I don't understand how they'll go away. If you want this, you got to pay for it. You know what, sir? I don't want you or your money. And it'll be my decision because at that age, it wasn't my decision for those things to be done to me. I can't give consent at 8 years old. The age of consent in Louisiana is 16. So we'll just say before the age of 16, I became a mom at 14. So that wasn't even my consent. I didn't even have consent to be a parent. My mom had to make that decision for me. Had it been my decision, I wouldn't have a daughter. Not saying nothing against my child, but come on now. At 14, nobody is ready. I couldn't get a job to take care of her. Couldn't live on my own. So yeah, that was not my decision. And so a lot of the stuff that shape us as women, a lot of our older people that are put in place to protect us make those decisions for us. And another thing that I hate to hear, because I think I'm really just running off topic, I'm not even talking about the lack of protection. I might have to, do another show because now I'm talking about other stuff and I'm rambling. But
it's entertaining. It's entertaining information. I put it very informative. I'm sorry.
The thing is, this is another thing that bothers me while we talking about generational curses and the lack of protection. When I talk to a grown woman who has a teenage daughter who is saying that's like, she get out there and she get pregnant, she gonna raise that baby because she want to be hot in the ass and be grown. If that's the most ignorant, if that's the most stupidest, is that a word? Stupidest?
It can be.
Okay, stupidest, most ignorant, dumbest shit that I've ever heard in my life. Because how are you, as a grown woman, gonna make that decision for your daughter to say if she's out there being hot in the ass, this baby is her punishment? And again, this ain't nothing that I read. This is something that I live. This is something that I hear. I've heard. Like, instead of you pulling your child to the side, because first of all, it's stupid to think that if you're in your 30s or 40 now and you knew that you had sex as a teenager, it's ignorant to think that your kid is not going to do the same thing. Because that's when your hormones start to take place and, you got the little boy and you got Big Unc in his ear saying, you got to knock down as many as you can. You got to knock down as many as you can, but then a woman can't have sex but one time. She has sex one time, she a hoe. She got more than 2 baby daddies. Oh, she a big hoe. Ain't nobody gonna want her. Meanwhile, this man can have 8 kids by 7 different women and he getting dabbed up, high five. Nobody talking about that because if we talk about that or we angry. We're going to talk about how many kids he got. We're going to talk about he ain't got no job or he can't take care of his kids. But then it's going to go back on the women because we made the choice to sleep with them. Why ain't nobody holding the men accountable? And I ain't trying to bash no man because this ain't even what this about. But I'm just saying.
That's a good point.
But I'm just saying.
Man, a man out there having like multiple women and doing this, you the man. You know, that's
yeah, you the man.
Yeah, that's true.
But I got 4 kids by 3 different men. Oh, you ran through. You just garbage.
It's a double standard.
It is. But why ain't nobody holding the men accountable for the double standards? Like, men get dabbed up for the most mediocre shit. But a woman got to go to school. We got to get a job. We got to take care of the kids. We're going to be strong. While men get praised for being a fry cook at McDonald's. Man, he got a job. That's the least he can do. But a woman do the same thing and they be like, girl, you knew you got to go get a job. You got to take care of your kids. What in the world?
That is messed up, though.
And then you know, and you got to have somebody, it's got to be somebody in your family. But then if you try to, hold a man accountable, he gonna call you a hater. Man, you need to be taking care of your kid. Why you worried? But then he don't want to have no job, don't want to take care of his kid, but don't want nobody else to be with his baby mama. So, I got a baby by you. You mine forever. That's stupid. And I ain't even trying to bash nobody. It's just stuff that I see and stuff that I hear. It's stuff that I hear. So it all comes with, well, what is my topic? This ain't even my topic. You just got me rambling over here today.
Well, we're talking about women of color not being protected.
And I don't even think I said nothing about that.
Well, you have mentioned
okay,
it.
I have mentioned it, but then I think I took a derailment. And I was talking about other stuff. I just be all over the place. Please forgive me. I hope y'all keeping up because I know I'm all over the place because when I get to talking about certain things, especially about stuff like this, I do get a little passionate. And it's like we're supposed to be celebrated for the bare minimum, or you're supposed to be celebrated for doing what you're supposed to do, which is why, again, don't call me strong. Don't do that because I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be taking care of the children, giving away and, putting my responsibilities and projecting onto other stuff. Again, with, women trying to be protected, like I said, I had a detective tell me that they're not going to take it seriously if we don't take it seriously. And then this is the thing, when you try to get a restraining order, they won't give you a restraining order unless it was violence actually against you. Like, you got to be beat up for them to actually give you a restraining order. And then in my case, when I was trying to get a restraining order, he has to be served. So I had my little girl's father tell me, good luck with that because I ain't going to never be where I'm supposed to be to get this. So then he can't be served. So then he technically don't know he has one. So technically there is no restraining order put in place. Lack of protection. Why do he got to know? Why do he have to know that there's a restraining order? But then if I go temporary insanity and start spraying up the place, now y'all going to put me in jail because y'all are not protecting me. I have to take matters into my own hand. That's what we need to talk about, because why do he have to beat me up for y'all to protect me? Why, if I tell you that he's stalking me or he's making me feel uncomfortable, that, this is something that I have happened. Like when I was working at Family Dollar, my little girl dad, now me and him ain't been together in years, but as soon as he get put on paper, want to spit in my face. Because I wasn't finna be stupid enough to get out in the car and try. I'm not that girl. You not finna see me trying to run up on no man. I ain't finna ever tell you that we fought. Fuck all that. I'm scared as hell. I'm not finna try to fight no big ass dude that done time before. No. I'm gonna sit in my car because I know if I would have got out that car, he probably would have drugged me. And I would have really, no.
It was gonna get real.
It was gonna get real. Just get out the car, let's talk. No, you can talk to me through the window, sir. But the minute I let that window down just a crack, he spit in my face, all because he on child support and he don't take care of his child. And I'm not sleeping with this man. I'm not gonna go back and forth and double dip. I'm not doing none of that. I'm not confusing none of that. And I ain't talking about people that do that. If that's what you feel like you gotta do to protect yourself, whatever you need to do. But I'm gonna tell you what I did. I'm not doing that. And he spit in my face only because he was on child support. And he don't work. Then I'm sitting here like, She's 15. I won't say she's out of control, but it is a little defiance there. And of course, he don't have my phone number. So I'm out here, I'm begging on Instagram, like, what do I need to do for you to be in your daughter's life? Whatever I need to do, I'm gonna drop it. I can't drop child support because then I would have to put her in private insurance. This is something that I was told by the DA. If y'all know other avenues to tell me to drop the case, because I'll drop it, because at this point I ain't getting no money anyway. So it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it for the arrears to keep popping up. Like, if it's other ways that I can go, because I did reach out to the DA years ago so he can leave me alone. Like, I know he'll leave me alone if he was on child support. This is what I'm saying, no protection. I worked at Family Dollar, and he would just be parked in the parking lot. Or I would be looking up, stocking the shelves, and he would just be in the store. And he had the nerve to tell me, he was like...
That's some first 48 type of stuff.
Right, and then was sending other women in the store. I even had a taser. Like, my friend knew a sheriff, and he came in the store, and I thought the sheriff was coming to talk to me about all the times I had called the police on my little girl daddy, and he was just in there trying to introduce himself. And I'm saying, like, I done told this man all my business. I'm like, oh yeah, he be sitting out in the parking lot, and I'm scared. My little girl daddy had the nerve to tell me, don't be surprised if you get pulled over and they find drugs in your car. You know what the police told me? The police said, well, leave your door locked. Where's the protection? I'm trying to have a paper trail. I'm trying to do all of that. I end up getting transferred to another Family Dollar. Because this is what I say when I say I'm hiding in plain sight. I be hiding in plain sight. And y'all don't see me, y'all don't know me. You can't go to not one neighborhood and they gonna tell you they know T. Ain't nobody finna tell you that. Because I be hiding in plain sight. I'm not shivering. You don't know my address. You don't know my phone number. Hell, you don't even know what kind of car I drive at all. But the only contact is social media. You don't even have my Facebook because you was on Facebook talking about putting drugs in my car. But that's not a threat enough, because he ain't exerting no violence towards me. And this is why a lot of women won't tell. And this is another reason why we don't have protection. And I don't even want to speak on if I was the other color, would the police protect me? Because it's like, if I came from a affluent family, they probably do something because, they got money. Because a lot of victims, they're victims because of their lifestyle. And police won't do anything because they're saying, oh, they're on the streets, or they're a runaway, or anything like that. A lot of serial killers have victims that are homeless, that are prostitutes, that are on the streets, period, because they're a victim of their circumstances, and they know that the police won't look for them. They know that their families won't look for them. That is a lack of protection. Since I'm high up in this true crime, and I don't want to start a true crime thing because it's already a lot out there, and I know I don't have the time to dedicate to research. So I'm listening to other people, and I piece together different stuff that I've read or different stuff that I've listened to and videos that I've seen, and it's indigenous women as well. They are women of color and indigenous women. They're not protected at all. Like, that was a serial killer, because if you kill more than 3 people, you're a serial killer. So a guy has been arrested in Canada, and he has killed 4 indigenous women. And he told the police where he buried the bodies. They're in a landfill in Ottawa. And the police flat out had a press conference and told their families, we're not going to look for your family member because we don't have the resources to do so. Now, y'all know if these victims was the other color, then they would go look for these women, or they would try to look for these women. So that we're discarded like we're trash because we this instead of this. And I don't know no statistics. I'm not no expert. I'm telling you, this is just what I've seen. This is just what I've read. This is just what I've heard. We have no protection. No one's going to protect a little brown girl, because that started from a young age when things happen to us, and the people put in place to be there to protect us didn't protect us. Your mama didn't protect you. Your daddy didn't protect you. Your grandma didn't protect you. Maybe because they weren't protected. Maybe because the same thing happened to them, and we can say they don't know no better. We can do that we could do that for 50 years ago. They ain't know no better. They couldn't do nothing then. But in the 2000s, you could definitely do something. Or, you know, if the uncle or the stepdaddy touch you or your own daddy touch you, your mama blame you for stealing her man. How is you aiding stealing somebody's man? Then you get beat. You're not protected. There's no protection for us, and it needs to be harsher punishment put in place. Somebody needs to make an example. And we're not going to let the ones that cry wolf get away with it either. I have a brother that's in jail now for domestic violence, all because he couldn't stay away from his baby mama. All because he couldn't keep his hands off her. Yes, he wrong as hell for putting his hands on that girl. But she wrong as hell too because she knew that they weren't supposed to be together and she was still in that house. I ain't gonna say no names right now. But if y'all know me, y'all know who my brother is. If y'all know me, y'all know who his baby mama is. And I ain't gonna be saying no names right now. But, you know, maybe later on I will. But that's why he's facing these charges, because it's not the first one. And he had a permanent restraining order put in place. But it's his house. He gonna stay there. She knew that too. Now, the thing is, for women like that don't want to stay away from the man, when they put some punishment against her, why can't she be punished as well? I ain't saying give her no jail time. People need to be made examples of this, because you do have the women that cry wolf. You do have the women that feel like, okay, and I think that's another reason why there is no protection, because you have that small percentage of women and girls that lie. So you have that small percentage that's going to overtake the actual victims. And the police are looking at, well, she lied that one time. You know, this one might be lying too. And so that's another reason why there's a lack of protection, because they can't weed through the truth and the lies. It's severely understaffed with social workers, severely understaffed with, you know, or maybe we'll say understaffed and overworked social workers, overworked cases where you just can't see everybody. You just can't see everybody. Then you have to have a spirit of discernment. You have to know, okay, who is true. Being in this career field that I'm in, I'm slowly learning that you're only gonna get what they tell you. And they can tell you anything, and it's not really, you know, you don't want to trigger anybody and want to, you know, is this truthful? Because you don't want, if they are telling the truth, you don't want to let them know or make them think that you don't believe them, because they won't speak up. But then if you're a product of the system and you've been let down so many times, you never know who you can trust. Not if you've been a victim since you were a child. And you can't even trust the adults that God put here to protect you. So what makes you think that I'm going to trust any, mini, miny, mo, and you're in a uniform? Because that's your job. And you can get so jaded in this field that it's like you're numb to it. You're numb to what to believe and what to do, and you get tired, and that takes a toll, because you have to check on social workers, you have to check on therapists. You know, the therapists need a therapist. You have, how do you decompress? How do you get past all the statistics and things like that? 68% of black women dying is homicide. That's more than half than their white counterparts. That's crazy. That is, I'm gonna do some research, and I'm gonna like get some actual numbers, and maybe like try to, you know, start a conversation on social media to get more people, because I want to be loud about it. I want to be loud about victims of sexual violence. I want to be, because we're starting to talk about it, but we're not talking about it enough. You know, you had the Me Too movement. We want to be able to talk about it because we don't want any blowback. We want to be able to, you know, have. Then if you do remove the child from the home, you got foster parents that's out there that's misusing and abusing kids as well. So it's like, at some point in time, where can you go? What can you do? There's a lack of protection for black, brown women and indigenous women. And I say indigenous women because I didn't want to leave them out, because I know it's violence against them, but they're prevalent in Alaska and Canada. But I still didn't want to leave them out, because it's violence against them as well. And they know the predators know this because they know that there's a lack of protection. They know that we won't be believed. So they feel like they can get away with it. They threaten you. Well, I kill you if you tell. I kill your mom if you tell. Or I kill everybody in the house. Do you know how hurtful that is to hear at 8 years old? Somebody has already taken your trust. Then this grown ass man is telling you, if you tell, I'm gonna kill your mama. Well, you don't want your mama to die. So of course you're not gonna tell. And they know that this is how they manipulate you. No protection. No protection at all. And this is, you could be hardcore, you could be hardwired not to trust anybody. It's just one of those things where it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. And in my case, we never got a chance to talk about it. And to hear at 16 years old, my mom was still in communication with this man. It's just that, okay, we're supposed to overlook it. You're not supposed to process your emotions. You're just supposed to get over it and it be pushed down. And you hear years and years, you hear so much pressure bust pipes. Well, that shit is true. Because when I heard his voice, that triggered something. It triggered something in my mind. It's like, well, how, what happened? Well, you took that back. Because he said he was going to kill you. That's the only reason I took it back. And he knew what he did was wrong because he hung up the phone. Because, I cussed my mama out. Why would I lie to y'all? I'm not finna lie to myself. I cussed out. What the fuck he calling here for? Why? He hung up because he knew. And I knew, when I think about it, like, I know I'm not the only one that he did this to. I know he did this to anything. And it took years for me to actually tell my dad. And then the killing part about it was, he was my daddy friend. That's how my mama met him. He was like my daddy drinking buddy. And it's like, then you want to, question your mama, but my mom is no longer here to question. And so it's going to take a minute for me to process all that stuff and have, I have this unresolved issue with her. But I was having a conversation with somebody and I was like, people need to start calling their parents on bullshit that they seen growing up. Now, this not trying to disrespect nobody's parents, but I have a 25-year-old who actually called me on my shit. She did. It's called a hard pill. That's a pill. Because you can get on social media and bash women that you don't like. Fact. Most men, black men men that become serial killers, they're killing surrogates. Because the intended victim, the intended target, they can't kill. So, in the case of the grim sleeper, did I call him the grim sleeper when we was talking before? Lonnie Franklin. He was killing from like 1979 to 1989 or something like that. He took like a 20-year break. That's why they call him the sleeper. And then I think he killed somebody in like 2000. The only surviving victim, her name was Anitria. And this was in California. He killed prostitutes and women that were on drugs. And when I first heard the case, the surrogate, it wasn't his mama or his grandma, his first wife, when he came from overseas out the army. He met this girl, he went to the army, he's going to take care of her. By the time, he got out and the money that he was giving her to pay the bills, sis had got addicted to crack. And instead of her paying the bills, the money that he was giving her, she was giving it to the dope boy. She was selling her goods to pay the bills. And when he found out about that, I think, of course, he left. I don't think he killed her. But every woman after that was a prostitute or a drug user. And he called them dirty and filthy. And the surviving victim wasn't even a prostitute. She was at a party with a friend and decided to leave early and walk home. And he gave her, he wanted to give her a ride. And she was like, I don't know you, dude. I'm not going to get in your car. And he's like, that's wrong with y'all disrespectful bitches now. Don't that sound familiar? Don't that sound familiar? Like when a man be on social media and he inboxing you, or you see a man in public and he feel like you supposed to give him your number or you supposed to give him some time. That's what's wrong with you disrespectful women now. And so to keep all that down, she hopped in his car, but then he shot her. And she lived. So the men, people have surrogates. So when you see somebody on social media going off about a woman this, a woman that, 9 times out of 10, he really want to say that to his mama or his auntie or some woman in his family, or little Susie that broke his heart because she didn't want to share his green crayon in the 2nd grade. So now he making every woman in his life pay for what little Susie did. Or he was hurt by his baby mama. Or he thought he was in love with somebody and he was hurt. And so not every woman after they got to pay. But more than likely, it's his mama. And he'll say stuff like, okay, you and your siblings can look like cousins. But if you meet a woman that got multiple baby daddies, or you bashing her, but you're not talking about how your brother used to go with his dad on the weekend and you was left on the porch looking crazy because you couldn't go nowhere. You're not going to address the fact that your mama got multiple kids by multiple men, but you're going to talk about the woman, the next woman on social media. This ain't no everyday thing. This is just something that you hear when you read about and you be wondering where this come from. But if you confront this man, he'll more than likely, my mama did what she had to do. So why can't I do what I got to do? So I feel like if people in general, because I'm not really trying to bash men, but I feel like if people in general start, addressing the person that hurt them the most, and if you can't, you can be like I can't address my mom because she's gone. And for me, a letter just won't cut it right now. That's going to take a lot of therapy for me. I know, because I can't address that, because I want to be able to talk to her. I want to be able to see her face. I want to be able to get an actual physical response from her. I can't do that. So then I'm going to be like, I got to be okay with the unknown. And I'm not okay with that. So until I feel like I'm okay with that, I'm not going to acknowledge it. I'm just going to keep pushing it down, and I'm going to try to be the best mom that I can be. And I'm going to try to advocate for more, being outspoken and watching your tone and your body language, because if you too emotional, you're the angry black woman. And they already view women as strong and have this intimidating presence. So you have to be able to, I feel like journaling is one thing. I feel like when you do want to have the hard conversation, first one has to take accountability. And so that took a lot of work on my part, being angry, because I projected a lot of anger towards other people, and then, talking about women who mistreat their children based on failed relationships. That's a thing too. That is a thing. Your man leave you, and then your son feel like he got to step up and be the man of the house. So now he 12, he the man of the house. That's a dominant personality, and he's gonna take that into the world. So then got men that don't know how to be emotional, because if you cry, you a punk. It's like, let the little boy cry. Well, I wasn't allowed to cry either as a little girl. I wasn't allowed. What you crying for? What is you doing all that for? You a cry baby. And so a lot of my crying did in silence. A lot of that, it wasn't out. A lack of protection. A lack of protection put in by people that is supposed to be there to protect you. And so it's a lot of issues going on, but I just want to be more vocal about that. And I don't know the steps to take. Not right now, I don't. I just feel like listening to the podcast, and it's just too many cases. When you hear numbers like 68% of black women dying due to intimate gun violence, homicide, that's scary to me. That's scary to think that you can get pregnant by somebody and they'll kill you. And not only pregnant women. It's been cases. It was the case of Brittany Booker. She got killed by her friend's boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, and all she was trying to do was protect her homegirl. Cause you gonna get in these relationships. You got the homegirl that you're gonna tell about. Girl, this nigga done hit me. Oh, we finna ride out. And she didn't really say ride out. She said, I'm gonna help you get your stuff out this house. And she went over there. He beat them with a hammer. Not only did he beat them with a hammer, Brittany was holding her 1-year-old daughter. And he was still beating her over the head with the hammer. She survived that. And then when the friend, gone by her life, he breaks in Brittany's house. This just happened last year. He breaks in her house and attacks her in the bed with her daughter.
Where was this
at? Illinois.
Okay.
I want to say Illinois. But I listened to it a couple weeks ago, so I'm real fuzzy about it.
Okay.
But it did just happen. She had 5 kids. 5 or 6. And she was only 32 years old. And she was killed, basically trying to protect her friend. So, and she wasn't even pregnant. And this is something that nobody talks about. The thing is, the question that was posed on the podcast was, could you still be friends after that, after, your boyfriend done beat you up? Because, that's a thing too. Like, you don't want to be disloyal to your friend, but damn, your nigga done hit me upside the head with a hammer. What you expect? I got kids, I got babies to be here for. And the fact that, and then he was on it. She had a Ring camera. I think that's something else that the city needs to invest in. Getting people, especially in, high crime areas. Mm-hmm. I think the city needs to provide those cameras. Because a lot of cases have been solved with Ring camera. Because had she not had that Ring camera, they wouldn't have seen the suspect walk out the door. Because he walked her out the door and you seen the gun to her head when he walked out the door. So that's something that I had been thinking about, but I'm not in the city council. I'm not in the public like that. So I really think that if everybody had, that's just like the little girl that got shot in the drive-by a couple years ago, and all the people on the neighborhood had the cameras, and they watched the footage. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't a high crime area. This was just a shootout that happened, and she was just at the walking home or outside playing or whatever. But I felt like if the city provided that for citizens, especially in these apartment complexes, that'll, I don't know if it'll help the violence, but I think we can solve a lot of stuff with the violence if everybody had Ring cameras. At least on that neighborhood street, or at least cameras on street lights. Something like that. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not in the public like that. I just kick around ideas in my head, because when I do listen to true crime, it's amazing how the Ring camera can help crime like that. Just like, because I think they got it because of porch pirates. Stopping the packages from being stolen off your porch. Mm-hmm. I think that's really what enhanced the need for that. But if you could catch a crime in the act, you could do that as well. With a rolling, stuff like that. It's just something, like I said, it's just an idea that I had in my head. It would be nice. I wouldn't even know who to bring that to. I wouldn't even know who to tell it to. Because I'm not in the public eye like that. I'm just like a meager citizen. And maybe if I go to like a city council meeting, I'll be scared to talk, because I don't like public speaking. So I'm like, pass a note to somebody. I'm like, tell them this. Or maybe if they have like anonymous suggestions, which they probably do. Like a little Dropbox. Like a little Dropbox, like, provide this, because I know you got the funds. Yeah. I know the city got the funds. It's just that what are they doing with it, Right. So I guess if I had the time to actually attend a meeting and, go to a meeting and kind of make myself known, I'll probably have to talk to Dorian about that. Like, you say something. Because they can be like, who is you? And I'm like, just a concerned citizen. So that'll be something else. And it's just something I thought about. That's only because I listen to true crime all day in my car. Like, I listen to so much true crime that I was watching this case. Was it a Payback case? I want to say it's called Payback. It's a new show. It's called Payback. And the woman killed her husband of 2 months because she said he was beating on her in the middle. Because, you got to say that, it's self-defense if he was actively beating on you. Okay. So that's how you get away with it. I ain't trying to help y'all, but I'm just saying. Yeah, here it is. I'm just saying. So then, look, she don't tell the police that, them big old orange electrical cords. Yeah. She don't tell the police that man strangled her. This a 300-pound, 6'2" man. She 125 pounds. She had like little scratches on her neck. You gotta look like you got beat up. You remember that scene in A Thin Line Between Love and Hate when that lady
beat herself up?
Yep. Yeah. And they took him to jail? Yeah. Like, I've listened to so much true crime. I'm like, nah, sis. I'm talking to the TV like, now you is not finna get away with this. Because you got a scratch on the back of your neck. Then she was like, I flipped him over. I did something and got on top of him and I took the car. You're not finna get away with it. Then she want to say, he been beating on me, but you never called the police. You got to call the police even if you got to have a paper trail. Yeah. You got to. And that's crazy that you got to have a paper trail to protect yourself. You got to have something, okay. Or it was, it was one video. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to start. If I have takeaways, I'm gonna have to start writing this stuff down or putting it in my phone when I park, because it was one video. The man was beating his wife and made his 13-year-old son videotape it, like, this how you handle women.
Ooh.
So he was 13 years old. He's watching his dad, and it went on for like 45 minutes. And he beat her like with a belt and was punching her. And had they not had that tape, he would still be out. I don't think she killed him or anything, but yeah. And what she did was, every time she missed work, she had a co-worker that documented every time she missed work. When she did return to work, the co-worker say, well, she came to work with a black eye this day. She didn't have to call the police. She didn't have to, because this guy was like a prominent figure. So she wasn't going to be protected. But her co-worker, and along with that journal that her co-worker kept and the tape that her son provided, he got locked up for life. You have to have a paper trail. And it's crazy that you have to go through all of that just to get protection, because there is a lack of protection. Because then they want to ask you, why you stay so long? Because a lot of women not going to leave at the first sign of violence. Me, I was out. You hit me, I'm gone. And I was just trying to break up with somebody. I was just like, I don't want to talk to you no more. And he hit me. We wasn't even in a relationship. Now I won't break up with nobody. Like, I'm scared. Like, I'm not going to break up with nobody. Even if I was just like, you just like a situationship, I'm going to do something to get on his nerves to make him think he loved me. Because I still think that that's going to happen. And what if it's worse? So I can just imagine what it is for a woman that's stuck in a relationship that feel like she can't go nowhere, because you have a lack of protection. Because these people are not going to protect you.
And then you say you do believe mainly for women of color. For
women of color,
okay,
indigenous women, brown. I think that's because if you see anything like, if all the movies that you believe are true, when the white woman goes to the police, they're going to take her seriously. I haven't seen one where a white woman wasn't taken seriously. And movies are fake, but it's based on something.
Right.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it at all. Now I have seen true crime cases where, like Jodi Arias, and she said that Travis was beating on her, but there was no record of it. And so she killed him, but it wasn't self-defense, but she was trying to claim self-defense. So she still went to jail because, like I said, self-defense is in the middle of it. If he actively beating on you, then you have to, if you got to do what you got to do, that's self-defense. But you got to make it look like it too. You can't just, and then you can snap, because that's temporary insanity. Like, I be learning so much just sitting in my car in between clients, or just when I'm doing my part-time job. If you plead insanity, that's just like, okay, this man done beat you and you want to throw some high grits on him.
You can turn into a whole detective around here.
I probably could.
Yeah.
And that's just some stuff that I listen to. Like, I ain't even doing no research. I'm sitting in my car all day. I'm in the car 90% of the day, or with my headphones, listening to this stuff in between my clients. And it's interesting. It's interesting to me. And this happens, I think it's prevalent in the black community. Because it all starts with little girls that's not being able to protect it. And black people already don't trust the police anyway. So that's probably another reason why we are not going to be protected, because we won't allow them to protect us. If you do find that one cop that's going to take it seriously, it's hard though. It's hard because just like social workers and mental health specialists and therapists are numb to what they hear, I'm pretty sure cops are numb too. You believe that one person, then that person turned out to lie. So who's to say who to believe to? And then what if you believe a person and you press charges and they go back and drop the charges?
Right.
But I think now that the state is starting to pick it up. If it's domestic violence, at least that's the case in my brother. The state picked that up, so she couldn't drop the charges. So the state picked it up. So, but then again, she was still in the home with him. So if there's a restraining order, why are you staying there? If you so fearful for your life, because it wasn't like my brother just iced her. I think he choked her or something. But that's still violence.
Right.
That's not trying to diminish what my brother did, because he still put his hands on a woman. But at the same time, if this happened in 2019, it happened in 2019 because my brother that passed away, we went to see him in jail. And we both offered him a place to stay so he wouldn't go back. And he both told us, oh, that's my house. So you knew that this was gonna happen again because this wasn't the first time, and it ended up happening again because that's all they did was fight. And then it goes to when you see a woman say, "Well, we fought." I'm not finna fight you. I'm not fighting you at all. I'm not finna fight. You're not finna ever hear me say I fought this man. I'm not finna say no mess like that because I'm not gonna win. Men are stronger. It's already in nature. Men are predisposed. Predetermined to be stronger than women anyway. So I'm not finna try to fight no man. What I'm gonna do? Windmill, break a nail, and then he get me down and he keep punching me. I'm not finna do that. I'm gonna call the police on you. I will call the police on you. I will try to mess up. I'm talking loud and proud and be going live or whatever it is, using all the resources, and I'm not gonna back down. Yeah, he beat me. Yeah, he hit me. Y'all see this black eye, and I'm not gonna go back with you because that's another reason why they don't take it seriously because they go back. And they could go back because they're scared. They can't. I don't know, but in most cases, they just think it's a sport. They think it's okay to fight a man. They, antagonize a man who already have anger issues that he has not dealt with, and you're antagonizing him because what's the go-to phrase? You call a man gay. You attack his sexuality, or you talk about his mama, and he want to hit you, and now you want to, I don't know. I've never been in those situations. It's just what I see on social media. That's not been the case. I did see a case where this man was in love with this girl, and he was professing his love. I think her name was Anika. This happened a couple years ago as well, and they went to a party. She was trying to, break up with him. They went to a party, and he pulled her in a room, and he professed his love to her. Now, he cheating on her now. You just mad because I found this new girl to take your place. And she was like, dude, I don't care. So he pulled her in a room and he professed his love to her. And she started laughing in his face. Like, dude, please, I don't, fuck you. And he beat her to death. So in that case, first of all, then you want to, and this is all what I listen to. And so this is the stuff that has been reported. Can you imagine the stuff that hasn't been reported? Because the lack of protection. And she was just telling her friends and her parents and stuff like that. And then what he did was when he killed her, he drove around with her body for like 2 days and had his friend to go help him dump the body. But he was in an accident on the way and the bumper fell off. So he tried to go back and get the bumper and went back with the bumper, and that's when the friend like, what you doing? So the friend went back and told the police. So there is no protection. I know I rambled the whole time, but I hope I got some points across.
You did. I concur. You did. I agree. You did.
And I guess I'm gonna have to dedicate like on those weekends when I say, well, I don't have anything to do. I can do research and kind of give more numbers and more articles because, what you talk about, you want to be able to back up. I don't want to just say social media was a source or I'm not an expert by far, but I read a little bit. I listen to a little bit, and what other people put in, their work. I'm real passionate about sexual assault, rape, and violence, especially with little girls. I'm real passionate about that because it's something that I went through. And, you can tell like when girls are overdeveloped or very hypersexual, something happened. That's mainly almost what has happened to them because, that's not supposed to be happening to some grown, nasty ass man. And I seen a debate on social media where you have this older man in your family, a grown man, and he says stuff like, oh, you all grown up now, you done grown, or look at y'all filled out. That's nasty. Or I feel like if a man likes younger women, like you have the older men, they're going to wait till they're 18. That's grooming. But can you imagine this is a child when you probably first like a 40-something-year-old man talking to like a 18, 19-year-old girl? What you want with her? What do you see in her? Y'all not on the same level mentally. It's some type of control there. I don't know. I don't know. I ain't trying to throw no blame out there, but I'm just saying that ain't right. You know, something else I found weird. It's just like totally off topic. When people be posting about their family members and call their family members sexy. You ever seen that?
No, I have not.
I seen something this morning that said, "Happy birthday to my sexy cousin." That ain't weird.
Yeah, I have to
Your
agree.
sexy cousin or my sexy uncle. That's weird, ain't it? I can't say nothing like that. I can't say nothing because I feel like they gonna come for me.
Oh, yeah.
What you mean? I got a nice looking cousin. Say that. Why he gotta be sexy? Why your uncle sexy? Why your dad is sexy? Let somebody else say that, you know? That's totally out the record.
I am a spectator here. I'm here purely for support. Transparency. I love this podcast.
I ain't gonna speak no more on it. It was just something that I saw this morning, and I was like, shout out to my sexy cousin. I just thought that was so weird. It's just like when women call their son sexy. My sexy son. Why? He can be handsome. Why your son sexy? Because look, if a man got on social media and said, "This is my fine ass daughter," you know that people would be giving him the side eye.
Off top.
So if you don't want no man to say his fine ass daughter, look at my thick ass daughter. Why you call your son sexy? I just feel. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. That's just me. That's my thoughts. They don't have nothing to do with anybody. I just find it weird. I really do. And that was totally off topic because when we were talking, everything off topic here. Anyway. Thank you all for listening and watching these shenanigans today. I hope that I was able to inform maybe one or two. Maybe. And I do welcome all the criticism and the support. At the same time, I am one of the ones that can take it, constructive or, popular. I guess I need to go back and start watching my own episodes as per, my producer asking me. And I was like, no, I don't even read my own books. I've never read a book through and through that I've written. I just kind of let it fly, and take the criticism as it goes. I haven't had too much backlash for books. But hey, that's just me. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Listening, watching, if you're interacting, anything. Thank you for all the supporters out there, for putting up with me and my rambling, me tapping on the phone and the tablet, trying to do research. This is me showing gratitude for everything. However many of you out there, this is me showing gratitude. I just want to say thank you. And I did have a topic for the next show, but I might change that, so I'm not going to say nothing. So, until next time, bye.